You already know what time it is. It's preview game time. It's the Broncos. They're coming to Santa Clara to play the 49ers. And we're going to break it down right here on the WayneBreezie Show. I got the one and only John Chapman from 49ers Rush. So stick around. Let's get this show started, baby.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy WayneBreezie and the one and only John Chapman. John, it's good to have you here, not on a regular day. What's going on, baby?
Man, I'm glad to be here. I'll tell you this, man, the jam, because you usually play the blah, blah, blah at the end.
Right.
And so every time I record with you, Wayne, afterwards, I'm walking around all day and I'll just be like, making oatmeal and just be like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm pumped, man. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you here, bro. It's good to be together with you all the time. We got a lot of stuff coming up. John, before we even get the show started, let's plug all the events we got coming up from 49ers Rush. This is a chance for the faithful to come out and just be with us, be together amongst the community. We get to be with them. I think I'm more excited to meet the faithful than anything else. Like, I'd rather sit outside, and I might just watch the game on the big screen TVs that we're going to have this year. So, like, the way my bank account is set up, you know what I'm saying? So talk to us about what you got planned for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. 49ersrushroadtrip.com. We've got 12 tailgates, parties the day before, all that stuff set up throughout the whole season. Obviously, we're doing week 1 in Pittsburgh. Just got through chatting up with Eric Crocker and BD Peacock. They're coming out of Pittsburgh. And so, I mean, ticket sales, Pittsburgh might sell out. We had a ridiculous capacity, but the demand is there. So if you are wanting to come hang out in Pittsburgh, please do not wait. I would hate for this to sell out and say, oh, I want to come. And we're like, we only have so many spots. So, but yeah, tailgates, night before parties, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. That's where it's at. Come say what's up, man. And as always, all of our events are family friendly. Kids 18 and under get in for free to all events, and they get everything except for the alcohol with the ticketed adults. So yeah, come hang out with us. Come say what's up.
Come say what's up, John. I'm liking the Rush hat, and Breezie doesn't have one. Breezie wears hats, so Breezie should be the first person with the hat apparel, and somehow John Chapman is the first person. But it's yours. I'm just saying, I could flip it, I could rock it.
I got one for you, man. This is compliments Coach Cruz right here, man.
So
I went and hung
my
out
gripe
with
is with Coach Cruz. Okay, Coach Cruz. Expect a text message via the show, not after the show. Like, as soon as I go on mute, Coach Cruz, you will receive a text message. But guys, listen, speaking of hats, man, go to www.residency.com. Take advantage of the sales that they have going on and use the promo code SFBreezie. All right, you will save money on your total purchase. It's about $5 off, which probably covers like the shipping and things like that. But hey, any saved money is good money in your pocket, right? So go ahead and check it out. Go to www.residency.com. You see all your favorite players wearing these caps. Not only that, you see your favorite content creators, even though he doesn't have one on right now, wearing these caps, right? He needs to have one to the side so when we do the promo, I'm just talking trash about my brother right in front of me. I'm so bad, John.
I bought like 20 of the residency hats, all using your promo.
Bro, I'm so bad. I'm sorry in advance. Listen.
Oh, bring it on, man. I don't mind it all.
We got the Breezie's Bunch crew out there. Shout out to all the members of the Breezie's Bunch crew, as well as the Countdown crew. They are in the building. We truly appreciate you guys. What I'm going to do is make sure that I pop your names up during the show once John speaks. I definitely want to give him this platform here so that he can get some stuff off of his chest or whatnot. But listen, there's nothing really going on, John, as far as 49ers news. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, it's both and. I mean, the fact that you went through a preseason game and you did not register one single injury whatsoever is unbelievable. It's not going to happen again. As much as I want it to, every single team goes through preseason and you have several goals. You want to polish, you want to know your young guys, you want to see them flash, you want to make sure everybody knows the scheme and the system. But the number one thing that everybody says, let's get through this healthy. The Niners achieved that number one goal. The Raiders, they can hoist their preseason week 1 championship trophy, which their fans seem to be doing very, very well on social media. So hats off to them. Raiders went 4-0 in preseason last year. So if that tells you anything about what's to come, stick with that for whatever you will. So the good news on no injuries, amazing. The no news on Nick Bosa, we're getting into a little bit of alarming territory.
Let's talk about Nick Bosa. Let's talk about that very quickly. Well, not quickly. Let's take our time because this is an important piece to the San Francisco 49ers. He's a key cog. He's not just a cog. He's not just a regular, all the players mean something, but he's a key cog. He's the right.
Capital THA.
And other teams prepare to find ways to make him less effective every single week. And I feel like him not being here, teams are probably salivating at the mouth and they're hoping that he never shows up for the simple fact that they can go back to a different type of game plan against the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I'm saying? And so let's talk about Nick Bosa. Like, he hasn't signed his extension yet. We knew it was going to be a long time. Is it past the time of worrying? I mean, a week ago I was still cool, but now we're getting into preseason week 2. Is the worrying starting to come? I mean, according to Tony Pauline, which I'll read after your take, this might not get done anytime soon. I'm sorry. Wanted to put that.
So there's several different ways to look at this, and you have to bracket this conversation with what John Lynch said the first time he was asked about it in training camp. Nick and us have agreed to keep everything private.
True.
And so we are going to respect that. Nick is going to respect that, and we will work this out on our own time. Are the Niners happy that Nick Bosa is not here? No, they want him here. There's no doubt about that. What's up, Tanisha? Yeah, you want Nick Bosa here. He's not here. But at the same time, you don't want to panic. It's not panic time. If Nick Bosa misses a game, that is 1/17 of his paycheck. And so if Nick Bosa is holding out for money, which again, this is pure speculation. Obviously, it's about money. That goes against you're losing 1/17 of your bargaining power if you miss a full week's game. That doesn't make sense for any side, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, look, whatever is being reported, these are just takes, right? These are people's opinions based off of trajectories and former or past signings. So let me just read to you what Tony Pauline said. He says, the 49ers are dealing with a sticky situation with Nick Bosa's holdout. The situation with Nick Bosa and Chris Jones, who is the defensive tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs. I wonder if I don't think they have the same agent, but I wonder if this is why both players. I wonder if these two players are trying to change the way the NFL is going to play defensive players, right? Is more complicated and likely won't be resolved anytime soon. According to him, sources say there's been very little communication between the player representatives and their respective teams. Both Bosa and Jones are looking for a contract that would match or exceed the deal signed by Aaron Donald, who broke the market, right? A future Hall of Famer, Donald signed a 3-year, $95 million contract last year, $30 million, which will be paid out this upcoming season. Sources tell me the Bosa situation could last a while, and it's not out of the question the 3-time Pro Bowler could miss the start of the season due to a contract dispute.
Okay, so a couple things. They're not represented by the same people. Nick Bosa is under CAA.
Correct.
Chris Jones is under Katz Brothers Sports, under Jason Katz. So different agents. So, but then whenever he says sources tell me, whose sources? Whose sources
Right.
told him? If John Lynch and the 49ers, we know that they don't talk about this stuff. They do not leak this stuff. With the Debo stuff, like they've already come out and said it's going to be private. So you think Nick Bosa's leaking this stuff? Maybe, but I don't
think
get
so?
it. No, I don't think so. My question is this:
who are the
whenever I
sources?
see sources, it just means I made something up.
Right, because I mean, why I could say sources, and then you're going to be like,
I could be your source.
exactly. Well, which is good. You're a great source, but you know what I'm saying?
If I'm not going to put my name to it, then it holds no water, in my opinion, because that's where Mike Florio and all those Chris Sims, and you can go on and on and on. Sources. Well, the source is my French bulldog that's just going to agree with me in every single thing that I say so that I can put out there and get clicks. And so this one, now I will say this, I thought the deal would be done by now. And so it's not done. And so that is an issue. And what I don't like, and we've talked about this one-on-one, he's not getting his teammates better. That's the number one thing Nick Bosa brings in training camp and preseason, going against his teammates. Colton McKivitz, he needs to get better. If Colton McKivitz was going against Nick Bosa every day in camp, Colton McKivitz would be a better player. So that sucks. And
that's true.
Nick Bosa can be in the best shape of his life, but there's different football shape. Does he have pads on? Is he going all day in pads? That's the stuff. And that's your comment coming through me.
That's my only concern. That's it. That's my only concern. Soft tissue injuries happen when your body isn't conditioned to take hits over the time that it needed to. The durability of his body. And I'm not saying he's not going to come in physical top shape, but that's totally different than actually getting some game action, whether it's bang in practice, a series or two in a preseason game. Like, that is the importance of being here, right? And so the good thing about him not being here, you heard Kerry Hyder talked about this, is we get more reps. Like, we get more reps. But then even on that, the bad thing is they don't get to learn from the greatest pass rusher in the NFL either. So yeah, they're getting more reps, but they might not be learning. They just might, you know how you can know something and you just keep repping at it and you just get better at what you know, but but if there's somebody that's better, that has more info, like, they just don't have the model there to kind of like give them any tips. You know what I'm saying? It's not a shot at Kerry Hyder, Cleveland Farrell, any of those guys that's on the
Bosa's
defense.
The best technician, defensive end pass rusher in the NFL.
In the NFL. It's my only concern, John, honestly. It's my only concern. And let's just say his sources are correct. Let's just say he doesn't come or he's not ready to go at the beginning of the season. How does this hurt the 49ers? Because
it destroys them.
Oh, no, don't say that. That hurt my feelings.
He's the best player on the team, and it's not close. So whether you look at the NFL 100, best defensive player of the year. I was taking part in a draft a year ago. It was just the offseason draft, the offseason. And it was 32 teams, and you had to build an entire NFL roster. It was like a month-long process, whole thing. So, like, every player is wiped, and you got to build your entire roster. Nick Bosa was the first non-quarterback taken. And I think him or Justin Jefferson, I think that's about it. Like, that's how good Nick Bosa is. We saw this defense last week against, now given most our starters were out, but if Nick Bosa is not out there week 1, that's enough to shift the point spread by a good 3 points. Like, he's worth that, if not more, which, I'm a big bettor, but that would be huge. I fully expect him to be out there, but that would be gigantic.
I mean, and you get the same story from the players, the coaches. They're not worried about him training. They're not worried about him being at the top of his game. It's the stuff that they're not really paying attention to that can possibly happen, and this could be why they're unhappy, even though they're not showing it. This could be the reason why they're unhappy he's not there. Now, we still have time, John. Right? There's still plenty of time. But
you got 3.5 weeks till our first game.
Okay. I just want to.
You got 3.5 weeks. What's up, Niner Rich? I like that.
Niner Rich, what's going on? He says, I believe Bosa will be signed next week. Yeah, we got time. And if this is your take and this is what you believe, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't know what to believe because I don't know what's really going on. None of us do. I don't know how far they are apart from the contract talks, but it's clearly I don't even think and concerned. Is it the number or is it how he makes the number? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it the semantics in the contract and the way that the wording is broken down? Is that the issue? The language of the contract. And coming from my experience dealing with Bosa's, it's always the language. The number is easy. John, I'm going to pay you $200 million over the next 5 years.
That's what we focus on, but that's not what it's about.
Thank you, John.
And one of my least favorite players in the NFL is Kirk Cousins. Having said that, I love what he has done for the quarterback market and getting that fully guaranteed money. I don't like Kirk Cousins.
At least you keep it consistent.
No, but I'm going to be honest. Like, I can't stand the dude.
100%.
But I love what he has done because I'm really big and I almost side with the players all the time. And this is the tension, right? Because Nick Bosa deserves every damn penny he's going to get.
Facts.
But at the same time, you don't want the contract to be something that hurts the team's salary cap, whatever. So it's always this balance.
Which is why, or where Parag and the front office is trying to get him to understand. So, like, not saying that he doesn't understand that, but the contract has to work in the best of the team's favor, probably first, as well as the players' favor. Which
we gotta find that gray area.
They got to find the gray area. They got to find the gray area. And so, look, Niner Cali boy. All right, this is my man, fellas. Here's the question: do we win Week 1 without Nick Bosa? Does that change our thought processing? Because I asked John about the defense if he's not there, and John says tremendous. That's why I said it hurt my spirit because as many great defenders we have: Fred Warner, Javon Hargrave, Talanoa Hufanga, Gipp. Like, you can name a bunch. Dre Greenlaw. You can name all these great players. How will he impact the team that particular week? Now you're putting more pressure on the offense.
Oh, so much more. And a lot of it, too, you have to look at who you're playing. You're playing against one of the best coached teams in the NFL. Now, offensively, they're pretty boring, the Steelers.
Yeah, very.
But they're a good
basic.
team. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, the first thing that came into my mind was, I'm not betting the spread. I can tell you that damn much.
I don't even want to know what the spread is, but can you tell me?
I think it's like 2.5. It's like 2.5, 3 points.
Okay.
Niners are favored. But, yeah, I mean, that's going to shift. You know, the Niners are favored in every game except one, and that's the road game in Philly, and it's 2.5 points, which usually the home team gets 3 points. This would change that. I think the Steelers would probably be favored by half a point, or it'd be a coin flip push game if Bosa didn't play. Like that's the difference this kid makes. Kid, I say kid, he's a grown man that could kill me. But
he's still a kid. We're elders now, John. Yeah, I think it's time to accept that we're elders.
I got the grays going, you know what I mean? They're coming in, baby.
I was trying to figure out where all this gray hair came from. It came from once I started creating 49ers content.
In your traveling plans.
That's a whole. Speaking of traveling plans, John, I'm gonna do a giveaway. Oh, and yeah, we're gonna do 3 giveaways on today's episode. We're gonna give away 3 single tickets to the preseason matchup this week against the Denver Broncos. So if you don't have plans and you want to go to the game, here's your chance. Now, I do things that I know you will. You get to meet John on behalf of me. So we have 81 people watching. I am the most random person. So, John, I'm going to need you to pay attention to the chat. People in the chat, you have to pick a number between 1 and 81. No duplicates. All right? If there's a duplicate, you will be disqualified. All right, here we go. All right, John, I got the number. We're going to give them about 3 minutes, and we'll continue talking. And as the stuff comes in, we'll go ahead and we'll pick that number. All right? So we're going to be giving away a ticket to the Denver Broncos game.
So everybody's got to guess just a random number.
Just a random number. And, we'll pick the closest number after my timer goes off.
And so my number that I have in my head.
Okay.
Is that correct?
No, I have a random app that tells me the number.
Gotcha.
You could do that on the next one.
Gotcha.
Okay?
I
All right.
got excited.
So get your number ready for the next one. All right. Get your number ready for the next one. Now, John,
I love seeing all the numbers in the chat, and I don't know if you do this. If I see a number and I need to memorize it, I go straight to 49ers players that wore that number.
That's
right?
so dope. That's
that
a dope correlation. I see a Christian. I see a McCaffrey out there.
Yep,
I see.
that's how I see it.
Yeah, I like that. I see a Trey Lance. I see a couple of Elijah Mitchells. Remember, no duplicates. If you do put the duplicate, you won't be disqualified, but you got to pick a different number because we're going to go with the first person that picked it. All right. We got about 2 minutes, and we'll wrap up the Nick Bosa stuff. But listen, I don't see it as a problem now, but it can be a problem later because I think not getting Nick Bosa on your team affects the team as a whole. You just talked about it, and I want the defense to be A1 from day one. And I don't think they can be A1. They might be able to be B1. And this is not a shot at Fred, but now you're putting more pressure on a second year draft pick. You know what I'm saying? Well, third, he's going into the second year, right? Drake Jackson. And then what's the free agent you just signed in Cleveland Farrell? Like, that's the pressure you're putting on your ends, and you're asking them to go out there and create pressures and do all that type of stuff. And then you're asking the interior to continue to do what they're doing so that the linebackers continue to play free. I just think it changes that up. Then that forces the offense to not make mistakes and to be on point.
The offense has been slow to start the season
every year.
Almost every year.
Even
defense was awesome.
Right. Even in 2019, people don't talk about that. The offense was still slow, even though we were winning. The offense barely could put up points. Like, we had to have an epitome. Like, we had to have this epiphany from a player or whatnot, like the Coleman game. You know what I'm saying? He just went off. He went berserk one week. You know what I'm saying? Against Carolina. They make the trade for Emmanuel Sanders come mid-season, and then the offense production started taking off. Remember, that was Deebo Samuel's rookie year. He wasn't able to even be Deebo until the signing of until the trade for Emmanuel Sanders. So I just feel like the offense took off a little bit after they acquired him. All right, the timer is up. John, the number is...
I'll go back through start all these numbers. Let's go. I'm going to see who had it first.
I'm going to give you the player's name for the number. The player name for the winner is Patrick Willis.
Oh, 52. So we got 52s in there now.
We got a 52?
The very first 52 was Niner Rich.
Niner Rich, congratulations, fam.
Now, having said this, if you think your number was earlier, I apologize because it auto-populates different order. If you submitted them same time on my screen, 52, the first one is Niner Rich. So sorry if this has caused problems in the past on my channel. That's why I'm disclaiming.
I love it. I love it that you're giving an apology for something that's not of your control. But hey, you are John, and you will always be John, and don't ever change in being John. Listen, Niner Rich, this is what you have to do, all right? So you're going to send me a direct message. I'm not reaching out to you. You have to reach out to me. Once you do that, I'll give you the steps. I'm going to need your email address and your phone number so we can transfer the ticket over to you properly.
Man, well, let's link up.
Wait, what does Peachy say? She said it's not. She's saying it is Niner Rich. All right. So Niner Rich, congratulations. All right. And then if you want to meet the great John Chapman, when I tell you John Chapman is fun, he is if you look up the word fun in the dictionary, is a picture of John Chapman should be there. Nothing else matters but you. I think that is why I love you, bro. Like, nothing else matters but you. If there's a problem, John's gonna try to figure out a way to solve it, and he gets it done. So, like, that's why I trust you with my life. So, guys, if you want to meet John, it would be really cool. Take some pictures with him so we can show how bad he looks on air on the next show.
I like that. All right.
Now,
I had one more comment before we finish this Nick Bosa defense.
Thank you.
Thing. Back in 2019, which you brought up, And we talked about the offense starting slow. Week 1 of 2019 to start our 8-0 run, the 49ers 8-0 run, we beat the Bucs 31-17. But if you remember, the defense had 2 pick sixes. Akella
That's
Witherspoon had one.
right.
And so, that's case in point why you need Nick Bosa out there. So anyway, you got my nostalgia.
This is what we do.
There.
First of all, John and I, the show was planned at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He got the invite, and we talked about what we were going to do 2 minutes before we hit start. So, just to let y'all know, this is straight up off the cuff. But this is what we do. It's kind of like what we do. All right, it's kind of what we do. Let's recap, John, day 15 in practice. All right. The 49ers beat writers typically tend to focus a lot on 2 positions. I'm starting to understand. The positions are kicker and quarterbacks. Okay. And I'm about that life because that's where the competition is. Quarterback 2 and kicker 1. That's where the competitions to me lie, as well, John, as the nickelback. So let's talk about this because Diamador Lenore is now taking nickelback spots. And do you know who was starting at the cornerback position?
Did they put Ambry in there?
Motherfucking Ambry Thomas, baby!
He had a good game. He did have a penalty.
He did.
But
it was ticky-tacky, but it was cool. I give it to him.
No,
Ambry Thomas.
Whenever I was at camp early, he was the guy I was watching. And I remember talking to you and I was like, dude, he is pushing people out of the way so he can get to the front and drills. Like his mentality, there was a light switch moment. And I freaking love it, man.
I'm not advocating for him because he's a blue. That's not what I'm doing.
No.
I advocate for players. I don't know if you realize this, that people feel they want to put in the trash can because they're not seeing production from them right away. Ambry Thomas was a 3rd-round pick, compensatory pick too, by the way, which meant it would have been 4th round. Just want to put that disclaimer out there. But my point is, I have an affinity for those type of people. Ambry Thomas, his rookie season, finished strong, and he said he came into the next season mentally unprepared as well as physically unprepared, and you saw that. And then he finished his sophomore season, to me, strong, just like Danny Gray on special teams. I felt like those 2 players felt like they needed to find a place where they can really show that they belong, and it was on special teams. And now it's coming down to when they put the pads on. So let's just recap day 15. The nickelback position has a question mark. The quarterback 2 position has a question mark. And the kicker position, does it have a question mark?
I don't think the kicker does. I mean, I will honestly tell you that the other kicker was better throughout training camp and more consistent. I don't think that's in question. He kicked every day, Zane Gonzalez. Moody kicked every other day. And so having said all those things, Moody is the better kicker. Will be the better kicker. I am not a fan of the pick. I still am not a fan of the pick. However, Moody's going to be the guy, and I'm fine with that. I have no concern. The 2 missed field goals, it's what it is. Kickers go through head games. It's all upstairs. It's golf swing. It's overcorrecting. That's just what it is. I'm not concerned.
You know what I was doing right before we started the show? I was watching the missed field goals because I'm like, one went wide to the left, one went wide to the right. The 58-yarder went wide to the right, and I was just trying to see what he did. And so after that first miss, that's where he probably overthought the process of just letting the first one go and starting afresh. And I think as a kicker, that's what you got to do. Let it go and start afresh. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the nickelback spot though. Interesting, because I didn't think Isaiah Oliver had the best game.
No.
And Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, made it clear that they're going to rotate some guys there. What are your thoughts about that? I thought A.J. Parker played better at the nickel.
A.J. Parker was awesome, man.
And you are a film connoisseur, so when you break down your film, I'm like, yep.
A.J. Parker was better against the run, the pass, coverage, tackling. You name it, he was better. Now, having said that, Isaiah Oliver had a decent camp. I want to see. I mean, I like that Diamador Lenore's getting some snaps there. I don't understand why they won't let Samuel Womack get a crack at that. I think that's his best position.
You really think that?
I do, man.
I don't. I
He
don't.
struggles against the fade route, which drives me insane as the outside guy.
Interesting.
But and whenever they draft, I mean, Samuel Womack started nickel week 1 last year. You remember that?
I do.
And then they switched it out, and Demo took his job, and then the injuries happened, whatever else. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. They've talked about Deshaun Jameson getting snaps there. They flirted with Jair Brown getting snaps there. They're just trying to. I think this is the point where it's like, okay, let's cover all of our bases so that if we get into week 3 and we have 1 or 2 injuries, we don't have to put somebody in there that's not a startable NFL player. You know, this is the case of finding your best 11. So we'll see there. But AJ Parker, he had a game. I'm curious to see if he can continue that. He played really well, really well.
Interesting. When I look at the nickel, I'm trying to figure out what may have been Isaiah. We have to do the film breakdown. Make sure you guys check out John Chapman's Patreon. Because why did he struggle? Like, what was the problem?
Leverage was bad. He did a couple flat foot reads, almost like a safety at the nickel spot, in and out of breaks, which you can't do. You got to be a little bit more aggressive. So it was just a little heavy footed on the read spot. And so playing almost like a trail technique from the slot position's just not going to cut it against a speedy kind of crossing route. He got burned on that twice. He got beaten the run game a few times. Wasn't very decisive or aggressive against the run. That hurt. And it shows because as soon as you saw 47, AJ Parker came in, it was like, whoa, okay.
Right.
Like, are you jumping off the film? Are you jumping off the broadcast? Are you jumping off the tape? Or are you just a guy? And not that Isaiah Oliver's a guy. He's not. He just didn't have a great performance. I expect him to rebound, and we're going to get to see it. I'm not sure if this is time to segue, but here's the great news. You're playing the Broncos this week, and guess what? The Broncos play all their starters. So he's going to be out there against Jerry Jeudy, snap 1.
Bam.
So
Just
we're
like that.
Find out.
So let's go ahead and segue right into that. Let's preview.
Look at that. That was
the game. That was perfect. That was spot on. All right. And so look, I know it's a preseason game, but this is another game. I think the 49ers are going to come out and set their players up for evaluation. It's going to be another test. Will they be looking to win this game? I'm not sure. But I'm curious to know how do you let's talk about the Broncos. Let's talk about what we need to expect from the Denver Broncos and then what we're going to expect from the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about who is going to start. And does it matter if Sam or if Trey Lance starts? I don't think so. But I want to know your thoughts on that because I feel like without Brandon Allen being here, they're going to get the equal amount of time played, half and half. So at the end of the day,
shout out to Brandon Allen. Had a
congratulations.
Had a kid. That's awesome, man.
I'm still trying to figure out what was the sex of the kid, but they didn't disclose it yet. So
yeah, that's up to.
But congratulations.
I always tell this story when it gets brought up. My very first day coaching, Texas, one of the largest schools in the country, very competitive program. My very first day as a coach, I go in, we have our all staff meeting, and the head coach goes, "Listen to me," and I'm not joking. If you and your family are going to have a child, you have to plan it around football season. If you have a child during football season, you are not missing practice. You are not missing a game.
That's right.
And I was just like, all right, here we go, which I completely disagree with that entire frame set
mindset. No, you don't.
But
you don't.
I do. Nah, man. Nah, you got to be there. You got to be there. But whatever.
I mean, you got to be there, but yeah. So just
hard.
don't do the conception stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to know how to say it I want to say it the way I want, but I'm not. It's too early. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't work on conceiving. Like,
you got to plan that stuff out, I guess.
You know.
But I remember thinking it was a joke, and I'm like looking around. I was like, oh no, this ain't a joke. This ain't a joke. This is not a joke. Anyway,
Leslie says it's preseason, but the Broncos playing all their starters. It will be the perfect game to evaluate. Damn it! This is what I'm talking about. The perfect game to evaluate our second and third squad. Listen to what she said, John. Do you think some of the starters are going to play in this game?
Like we had Cleveland Farrell play. We had who else? Isaiah Oliver, maybe. Like that was it. You had like
Yeah.
2 starters.
Do you think
I
we
think
get
we'll
any
see a couple
Debo,
more.
any Brandon Ayuk? I know we won't get George Kittle. Do we get any Fred Warner, any Dre Greenlaw?
Not
Like,
Greenlaw just because he's coming back. I think you'll see some of the younger starters.
okay.
Like I could see some Demo. I could see some Colton McKivitz. I could see like the young offensive linemen in their second year. Not Jake Brindle. Like some of those guys, right? So it'd
I
be
like
sprinkled.
this.
It'd be
I,
sprinkled.
I think it's going to be an experimental game. I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to start Ambry Thomas and Samuel Womack on the outside. I think he's
Ooh.
going to give Demo the start at the nickel this game. Like, this is how they're practicing. I think we're gonna see some makeshift stuff just to see if anything is to happen, right? Because Jimmy Ward spoke about this last year. Remember, Jimmy Ward said, "Coach, let me get some reps at the nickel just in case." And then he ended up getting hurt at the safety. And when he got back, he had 0 choices but to play the nickel.
You want the bench or do you want to play nickel?
But my point is, these players, even the veterans, they're looking to get reps at different spots just in case something happens, because it's football. You know what I'm saying? And something's going to happen. Let's talk about these Broncos, because you just said that they're going to have some starters out there. Russell Wilson played a lot last week.
Yeah, their starters played 20 snaps last week. Sean Payton's already come out and said we're going to see an uptick from that.
So they're probably going to go from 20 to 30?
Yeah, like you're talking, 3 to 4 series of start. And I mean every freaking starter.
He's old school, bro.
Well, he's tried to change the culture, and this is usually what you get whenever you switch things. It's a little different for the Niners because their starters have been in the scheme. We have such a very high retention rate with the 49ers players. You're returning, I think, 18 of 22 starters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit different. But yeah, Sean Payton's out to prove everybody how smart he is. Old school wins. Bill Parcells, that's who he is. That's what he's going to put out there. And so this is a 1990s playbook preseason approach. And that's what Sean Payton's going to do. And I love it because you're going to get a test. Starters against twos. Figure it out, man. Now, what's crazy is they did this last week against the Cardinals, who are not good, and the Cardinals backup still beat them. So
I can't believe the Cardinals won a game.
Cardinals have decent depth. They have decent depth.
Anyway, let's.
You remember going through all the NFC?
I do. I remember the shows.
The Cardinals weren't last ever. They were like 2 or 3 in every single position group. It was the Rams were dead last, and sometimes Seattle was last. The Cardinals, they've got a decent baseline. They just don't have any stars. They have no stars.
I have 2 good questions that I just saw pop up in the chat. It just hit my eye. One's from my brother Lawrence V. White, Cowboys fan. He says, since the Broncos play a lot of their starters, it's the best time for the 49ers to start anyone who is questionable or need reps. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's kind of the approach. Like week 1 was, okay, 2s and 3s, who's our bubble guys? Let's see what's at, right? Now week 2 is, okay, these are our transitional starters. Let's see who fits and who belongs. And then week 3 is half primer, half make the 53-man roster, right? Mm-hmm. So this is kind of the way Kyle Shanahan has approached the preseason recently, and so I fully expect that to continue. I do not expect Brock Purdy to play. I don't expect a lot of, the seasoned vet guys. I don't expect Trent Williams out there. Probably not Eric Armstead. Some of the longer tenured guys. I don't expect to be out there. But
I'm okay with that. Like maybe the third game, which might be the dress rehearsal game. I would think that this game is the dress rehearsal game. Usually it's the third game, but because there's one less preseason game.
And they got that week off.
Then they got
That's
the week.
Why it changed.
Yes. So yeah. I would think that this week would be the dress rehearsal, and then next week would be who gonna make this roster that is on the bubble. Like that's kind of what I thought, but I'm cool in being wrong. Like, I have no problems. Mark Espinosa says, can we talk about playing the starters versus not playing them? He says this can actually lead to more injuries and a slow start like always.
The NFL is in a weird kind of transition stage because you've got Sean Payton on one side, Bill Parcells, play everybody. It's what we do. We got to get ready. And then you've got, so my
Go
Road
do your
Game
thing.
TV showed up
Yes.
right back. I just got to open
All
the
right.
door. We'll be
So,
right back. I'm
ladies
so
and gentlemen, the TVs for the 49ers Rush Road Trip are here. John,
sorry.
go
I gotta put my
handle that.
camera down.
Yeah,
It won't
go
let me do this.
go handle that business. Let me go ahead and fix the thing so you're not looking at anybody crazy. All right, so yeah, John will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't tune out. He needed to go handle some BI real quick for our Rush Road Trips. All right, so Mark, I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like I don't think that the starters should play the whole game. But again, when do you allow them to get into the football shape? When do you allow them to hit against the other team or make tackles against the other team? Because that's when you kind of, you start kind of like building the calluses and things like that. So starters always play in the preseason at some point. The question is, what's that point for Kyle Shanahan? And so we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I do believe Brock Purdy won't be playing in this game. I think he's going to practice heavy right this week. With now that the practice ban has been lifted from Brock Purdy, I think he's going to get the majority of the heavy practices, and I think he gets this last game off, and then next week I think you'll see Brock Purdy against the Chargers. But that's just my take on Brock Purdy. What do you think about Brock Purdy playing in this game? Is it a possibility that he starts?
I don't think so. The fact that he just came back to his first 3 consecutive days, no days off. You do that for a full week. If, still no whatever hiccups or, hang-ups, then I think you play him next week. I think that's what they'll do. That's what they did last year.
Right.
Or 2 years ago with Jimmy G.
Are you concerned with, to go back to Mark's comment, are you concerned with players getting injured? I just feel like it's football and it's going to happen whenever it wants to happen. So they get injured in the preseason game. If it's not so serious or season ending, at least they'll have time to come back. But I think injuries are going to happen. It's like the final destination. Like, you can't escape it. Like, you could prevent it as much as you want. You could prolong them sort of kind of by training or eating right or whatever, things like that. But listen, it's football.
It's hard because, like, you've got some teams that are tackling to the ground in practice.
But that was how we grew up.
Yeah.
And we were less injured. Think about it.
They're bigger, faster, stronger. I don't know.
I don't think the players, well, I don't think they're bigger, but they're definitely faster and stronger. It's weird.
We're again kind of what I was saying before we got interrupted. Sorry about that. We got our tailgate TVs delivered today, so sorry about that. But you have teams like Sean McVay, they don't let any starters play at all. And so I don't think we have the sample size to kind of measure what it's going to look like with protecting these players versus playing them. Obviously, the more you play, the more likely you are to get injured. But at the same time, like Kyle Shanahan said, he puts a premium on these joint practices because they're hitting full speed, competition's there, they're just not going to the ground. And that's where, linemen get rolled up, ACLs, whatever else. I don't know.
But the joint practices are over. So now does he evaluate? Now do we think Kyle Shanahan evaluates the preseason? You know what I'm saying? Like the games? Because now, he's still not implementing plays, but he is dialing stuff up.
Yeah.
I know you broke down the film, John.
It's pretty basic. There was nothing that was like, here's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of, gosh, who's the Chargers offensive coordinator now? He was fired from the Cowboys, Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
So I even thought about this whenever I was going through the offensive tape. I was like, this reminds me of Kellen Moore. These are a bunch of very good plays, but the plays aren't building upon each other. Shanahan's at his best or in his bag or whatever you want to call it, because he'll run one play concept and then he'll do a deviation off that where you'll overcorrect to the play concept and then he'll take advantage of where you overcorrect. Kellen Moore never does that. Mm-hmm. He is a great play designer, but it's just a bunch of good dart throws. And so whenever I was watching, the 49ers tape, there was never a play where it's like, oh yeah, I remember them doing that in the second quarter. That's why this was open. But you can't do that when you're switching from 2 to 3s. Like the Raiders literally game planned for that game to win that game. And there's, again, different approaches, but Shanahan doesn't give a damn. It was 4th and 1, and we didn't have a player in the A gap on defense. It was 4th and 1 going against us.
I got you.
And like, go ahead, man. We're working our stuff. We want to see what we can do. Like, and so I think there's a middle ground. We probably go too far with not caring about preseason, but I don't know. I don't want preseason trophies. I don't really give a damn.
At the end of the day, it's evaluating. Like, I feel like it's evaluating. Players are trying to make the roster. You're going to have players go all out. What Ronnie Bell did in week 1 was phenomenal. Like, I was like, oh, this kid ain't trying to go home or get cut or whatever it is you want to call it. He's trying to let the world know he can play big boy ball. You make it to the NFL, you better be able to play big boy ball. Big boy ball. I'm talking take hits, make blocks, catching traffic, get open, whatever they're asking him to do, he did. Did he do everything well? No. He had a couple of mistakes.
You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of Richie James, but tougher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Minus the backflips too.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I was like, I've seen this before. Like, he could just kind of do everything. I like that. I like this.
John, we're at the 46-minute mark. I know we got about 15 minutes left. I want to do another giveaway. So, John, get the number in your head.
Oh, I got it.
Okay. And private message me the player's name so I can make the announcement. All right. I'm going to start the 3-minute timer and we'll continue talking about this game. Now, let's talk about the quarterback position. The quarterback 2 position between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. They're continuing the split reps as the 2. A lot of people are starting to say they feel like Sam Darnold shouldn't need the reps. You know what I'm saying? Guys,
I disagree with that. I
agree. That's why I want to get your take. Guys, pick a number from 1 to 105.
Oh.
1 to 105. I forgot to tell them that. All right. I see 2 numbers in there already, and that's cool. And the timer has started. All right. Oh my God.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew that face was coming.
Damn, I can't hide my facial expressions ever.
You're so East Coast, man. You are so East Coast. Somebody was asking me, like, man, what's Wayne like in real life? And I was like, East Coast. He's East Coast.
Oh my gosh, did I do that? So, first of all, I got to shout out to my man Lawrence because he says he is now a converted. Because people on YouTube can't see what you're saying, Lawrence. We can see it because it's a multi-band chat, but they can't see it. So the YouTube community, I want everybody to know, and we're going to give him the foghorn. He says he's officially a converted 49ers fan. It's in the chat.
Up, man?
So we have a saved young individual. The faithful have saved an individual. He gave up on the Cowboys organization. He says he can't do it anymore. He is now converted. So congratulations to my brother Lawrence. I'll see you tomorrow. Lawrence. He's my bass player.
We have a lot more press conferences and a lot less parole hearings. That's what I got to say.
Now you got a bunch of questions in the chat. They want to know, before I ask this question, here's when I don't think you should play any of the starters. And John made mention of it very earlier. It's when they're just returning from an injury. I think those are the ones you kind of want to keep monitored. Your Elijah Mitchells, your Dre Greenlaws. But Danny Gray's not a starter, so his ass need to get out there and play.
He's missed opportunities, and
other
your
people
boy took it.
That he better get out there and play. So let's talk about Robert Beal Jr., who's also coming back from a hamstring injury, or it was undisclosed, if I'm not mistaken. Let's talk about Robert Beal Jr. Will he get reps in this game?
Yeah, he better, because he's up against it. I'm just going to be really, really honest with you. I was worried they weren't going to bring him back, because as soon as, like, he was out there for helmet practices, and then as soon as they went full pads, he disappeared because he was injured and nagging injury. You know, that happens. But it was just like, man, we never got to see him. We haven't seen him. supposedly had a sack yesterday in practice against Trent Williams. I've heard some people report. I don't know how legit that is.
Okay.
Yeah, number 33. I'm more excited to watch number 33 than I am any other player this week.
Speaking of number 33, even though he didn't wear this number, we have to do the giveaway. Now, the giveaway is going to be for a ticket to the preseason matchup this week only against the Denver Broncos. If you want to watch the 49ers give some big payback to that game John and I went to last year.
Worst game of the year.
Hands down. What was it, a pick 8?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to go to the game, the name of the player that John picked.
Come on now.
I give you a hint. He's no longer on the team. That's a bad
forever
hint.
though.
But he did play forever. Dante Johnson.
Dante Johnson. I already got our winner, the first one that got it right.
All right, so who's the winner, John?
Symmetry 7 with number 27.
Now, Sim, you're gonna have to fly to Cali from Canada, bro.
Oh, geez.
For this ticket. If you feel like you won't make this game,
He ain't making it. Is there another 27? I didn't see anybody else have it.
I don't see anybody else that picked 27, but Symmetry did get it. Congratulations to Symmetry, man. You are the winner. Now you got to get here, man. It'll be cool for the faithful to meet you, Sim. But Sim, if you want to give it away, you may pick a person that if you want, or we do it again. How do we do it? It's up to Sim. Actually, he's the winner.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll have to see. Is Leslie you try to get a ticket, girl?
Yeah, I mean Leslie's here. Yeah, or he can give it to Miss Leslie because she is deserving. That you know what, Sim hasn't responded. Like he's not
said,
even.
Wow. He said what date?
The date is this weekend, this Saturday actually. Believe it or not. So let us know. We'll do one more at the end of the show. All right, one more at the end of the show. All right. He said he just tossed up a number, dog. Like it just happened to be 27. No, you were thinking Dante Johnson will be back on this roster at some point this
But
year.
27 is now Jair Brown.
Yeah, but Dante has worn a couple of numbers for the San Francisco 49ers.
36. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. I got a crazy question, right? Which Johnson, pause, will most likely be signed by the 49ers? Dante or Josh?
It's got to be Dante. Josh Johnson has to be done here. He started the preseason game for the freaking Ravens, man.
How was he?
Started it. He good. He looked good.
It's the goddamn system, bro. I'm telling. Nope.
That moment was too big. He got hurt right off the bat.
Nope. If you can't, you know what I learned? If you can't make the first read quickly in this offense, you have 0 shots.
Maybe. If that's the case, Sam Darnold should be getting all the snaps.
Quarterback.
That's what he does.
Listen, but he is. I mean, he's doing well. Like you're seeing his numbers and practice be pretty efficient because this offense is about timing and efficiency, right? And so, like, I just feel like if that first read is the read you're supposed to go, you got to lock in, fire, and throw it. You know what I mean? Josh Johnson is on the team. It doesn't matter who the Ravens played. He had a decent game. That's all it comes down to. John, great preview, man. What are you looking forward to most? Broncos versus 49ers.
Yeah, I want to see the wide receiver position because it's a cluster. Ronnie Bell took a giant step up. Chris Conley has looked great all camp. Isaiah Winstead flashed. I don't think he can make the 53, but he's looked good. Danny Gray, number 6.
That's the question mark.
Can he do something? Now, after that, I could go on and on. I got a lot of stuff I'm excited about.
Talk about it. Go on and on.
The third string tackles were way better than the second string tackles.
Interesting.
Ilm Manning at left tackle out of Hawaii, undrafted free agent, was a guard. They kicked him out to tackle. He looked really, really good. He was the best tackle in the game, period. Leroy Watson Jr. played right tackle for the first time. That dude got back-to-back pancakes on one play. I want those guys. Matt Pryor was awful.
Awful.
Effort was bad. It was just bad.
And Nick Bosa just looked lost.
Yeah. I think I'm worried. I think Nick Bosa's going to have to kind of go the Colton McKivitz route, where he was on the roster, got cut, had to make a change, came back, fought for a spot, and then got a spot, 4 years later. That's going to kind of have to be the route. But Bosa's got a great attitude. He's smart. He's intelligent. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Jason Poe, I thought, looked really, really good just on 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1. He cost the team. Outside of those two plays, like, he single-handedly ruined those 2 drives. But outside of that, he played really well. I don't really give a damn about the quarterbacks. I'm just going to be – I even asked you beforehand, like, can we not talk?
Well, I mean, we weren't going to talk about the stuff off the field.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think when it comes down to the quarterbacks, I just feel like this will be a great evaluation to see, like, between Sam Darnold, who probably will get the start depending on how the practice fares, right? That's what Kyle Shanahan said, because he wanted to rotate the starting quarterback. And so the difference, though, is, and the good news for whoever is the number 2 guy to go in, they're going to get probably the same amount of reps, because I'm expecting both quarterbacks to play a half. So it doesn't really matter who starts this game because they're going to get some time, and we'll see. Who do you want to start at the quarterback position?
I want Trey, but
yeah, me too.
I mean, just because I feel like we know a little bit more about what Sam Darnold is, and so again, the variance of Trey Lance is just so high. That's why I want those reps to go to him. But I don't mind if Darnold starts the first half and Trey does the second half. That's fine. I just want him getting more reps where people can hit him. That's what Trey Lance needs. That's all.
That's all he needs.
Who it's against.
That's all he needs. All right. Listen, I'm excited about the game. I think it's going to be ramped up a little bit more than that first game. I think the 49ers are going to come out with a lot more energy. They're going to be at home, so I'm expecting the energy level to be on level 1,000. It's totally different. It's going to be a totally different vibe, but it's going to come down to you. Whoever's going to be at that game, and we're going to do our last giveaway. All right, so whoever's going to be at that game, it's going to come down to you out there. So, Leslie, congratulations, because Symmetry decided to donate his ticket to Leslie, and congratulations. Thank you so much, Symmetry, for being a stand-up G. You know, I said, I can't make this game. Let me give it to my homie out west. All right. And so let's do this last one, John, on the giveaway, and let's go. You ready? I'm going to get the timer ready.
Am I putting somebody in the chat again?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. Timer's on. You got the person? It's on its way. Guys, number from 1 to 115. 1 to 115. It's like more people are watching all of a sudden. Oh.
With purpose.
No one's going to get that one.
With purpose.
I love it, though.
With purpose.
I love it. John, look, great show. I'm excited that there's going to be actual 49er football and film to break down. What was most exciting about the film that you were able to break down so far? I mean, I didn't really like what I watched on the defense, but there are some flash spots, and no one's really talking about the defense publicly. Like, everything is kind of like private. Like, your stuff is broken down because it was just a lot of stuff that the offense didn't do, but the defense gave up 34 points to the Raiders. And I know it's from some offensive turnovers and things like that and bad field position, but what are your thoughts on the defense? How did they look on film to you?
Man, I thought overall they looked a lot better. The problem that they were having was you had a questionable defensive tackle play. Kevin Givens, I've said this at length, he's not a power defensive tackle. So whenever he goes against power teams, he gets blown off the ball. And then you stacked him with DFF, who is not a strong run game defender. And so you had in both your A gaps, weak defensive tackle, weak middle linebacker, and they took advantage of that. And then when the second team came in, there was more of that. Spencer Wagee, who I really, really like, he cannot anchor at all, man. He got blown off the ball probably 5 or 6 times in a row. But he got a pass deflection. He's great. He's just a situational pass rushing defensive tackle only. But again, you stacked him with Jalen Graham, who's great sideline to sideline.
Jalen Graham might have been my favorite linebacker in that game.
He had so many positive plays, but he had some negative ones.
He did.
But that's fine. He's never played Mike before. There's difference. DFF 4th year of Mike versus You see what I'm saying? And so right now, you don't care about that. You're trying to see who can play. You're not stacking strong defensive tackles and Mike backers. We got Fred Warner. It's going to be just fine. But that was the issue. We got beat in the A gaps continuously. That was the
Interesting. Interesting. Let's see if there are any questions out there, and we'll field some questions. Big Daddy Niner says, "Hey Wayne, us that hat too tight on your head, is it? Oh, I'm not. Sometimes I like I do that with my ears. Don't worry, but like sometimes I do that. It's definitely not tight though. This is a snapback though, so I kind of like this one. Sometimes the strap backs are cool, the Velcro backs, but this is the snappy snap. All right, John, we got a couple of more seconds before we get to announce the winner. Again, if you are a winner, just DM me on one of the social media services. I know who you are. Instagram, you could do it on Twitter if you're following. All right. Now, before we make this announcement, I need everybody to make sure that they're following and subscribe to 49ers Rush right here on YouTube, as well as all the social media platforms. So please, guys, can you go ahead and do that? Nigel wants to know, what is that hat that John is wearing? And I kind of chewed him out earlier because I don't have one.
These fresh off the press, man. These fresh off the press. So, yeah, if you come out to some of our events, we're going to have some for sale. But I don't think we're going to be shipping those out. I got to talk to Coach Cruz. He's my product guy currently. He got these made, which are, I freaking love it. But yeah, so I don't know the answer to that. It's a prototype. It's a prototype currently. Thank you though.
John, are you ready to announce the answer?
I am.
I don't see the number there.
There's one person that's one below. So
I saw that.
I feel like we do that one.
All right, and the answer to this giveaway is, do I have a drum roll? Hold on.
Oh. He is going to be announced in the Hall of Fame shortly. Roger Craig,
hey!
Number 33.
Who's the winner?
Now, nobody said 33, but Oscar, the man, the myth, the legend, Oscar's a good dude. He came in with 32, so I think that's where it should go. Oscar Alfaro.
All right, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure, because I see a 22 from an Oscar, but it might be a different Oscar.
It's a little higher. It's right under Leslie's oh my gosh one where she got the ticket. So
but does Oscar, he had two guesses.
Oh, did he? Uh-oh. Well, I think we got a couple 31, so now we're about to get in weird territory.
Oh, sugar, honey, iced coffee. Now, I shouldn't have said anything. Somebody in the chat would have said it. I personally feel like it should go to Niner Cali Boy. He picked 31. Oscar, you can't guess twice. You picked 32 at 158, and then you picked 22 at 159. So if you put
the rules, Oscar's a good dude, man. That's all right.
I'm sorry, Oscar. Like, you can't pick twice. Damn it. That's all right. He says his first guess was 32, though. But you can't pick twice.
You did say that.
I said no duplicates. And you can't pick twice. All right, listen, we're going to go. All right, so I'm going to give it to Niner Cali Boy. Now, Niner Cali Boy, will you be able to attend this game? If not, I'll give it to Oscar. So it's up to Niner Cali Boy. So, Oscar's
a good dude, man.
I appreciate
he's
you,
helped
fam.
the show out a lot. So,
and I thank you for even
guys
being here and being a part of this stream, and things like that. And oh, you're going to Disney?
Anyway.
You ain't have to hit us like that, bro. Damn,
he already won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he already won.
Dang, that's kind of messed up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna be there anyways. You know what I'm saying? John Neville's, we were doing a couple of giveaways. This is to the game. But you guys know how to reach me. John, let's do some final thoughts, man. And let's get on up out of here, bro. And listen, wherever you're traveling to tomorrow, I want you to have safe travels, okay, bro?
Thank you.
Safe travels. All right, final thoughts.
Man, final thoughts are, the preseason is a time of hope and excitement for the future. You're not seeing all the starters. You're not seeing all that. This is the farm system, the G League into who will be the starters tomorrow. These are the Azizes. These are the Emmanuel Mosleys. These are Jawan Jennings guys. These are the deep roster guys that we are trying to embellish in. So enjoy that. and stay out of the drama, the weeds, the trash, the tearing people's character apart. That's not going to benefit your fandom or your experience at all. Don't let that stuff drag you down. So stay above that stuff. Enjoy. Lots of people. There are people that are fighting for their dreams this week, and that is huge, wearing the red and gold. So that's what we got. That's what I'm excited about.
I love it, John. And guys, listen, all I'm going to do is ask everybody to find a way to just remain faithful. Listen, we wouldn't be the best team in the NFL if we didn't go through something. Every person in the Bible that went through something had to be tested, and look how they made out. I will say that they don't call us the faithful for nothing. Let's continue to find a way to be faithful. And John, send us home, bro.
Hey, man, you guys are the absolute best. Chat was awesome today. Had an absolute blast. Until next time, stay strong, faithful.
Y'all better stay strong. Peace out.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the phone 9 preacher.